Hi everybody, thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited to show you how you can make your own vellum. Yes, your own vellum. And I cannot claim credit for this. This is from Anne Melvin of Positively Papercraft. She's got a huge following, so you probably do already follow her, but if you don't, you should definitely check her out. She's just absolutely a genius, and this was such a cool hack, and it was an idea that I got from her. And honestly, I'm surprised that I don't see more people doing this because I was recently at Joann's and I saw a piece of vellum, just one piece of vellum, going for $3.99. So how cool it is that you can make your own vellum. So I'm here to show you how, but again, the credit goes to Anne Melvin. But this is super simple. All you need is you need a laminator and you need laminator sheets. They do have to be matte sheets. It will not work if it is the glossy finish. So do make sure that you get the matte sheets. See that the matte sheets are kind of milky white in texture as opposed to kind of the glossy shiny finish. So make sure that that is what you have. And then all you're going to need are some napkins. And this is a piece that I did previously with a napkin, and you can see it looks and behaves just like paper. You can die cut it. It moves just like paper. Even though it's got that plastic coating, it doesn't feel like plastic. On the back side, it feels very much like paper. You've got that napkin kind of feel. But it does not come off at all in the slightest. Now these napkins are ones that I got from IKEA and kind of inspired me to do this. IKEA recently, and I saw this sticker set and these matching napkins, and I thought, how cool and cute would this be to make a card out of? Now all napkins are typically like 3-ply, and you'll see I'm pulling it apart here. And when you're doing this, you don't want to pull it apart before you put it through the laminator, but I'm just showing you here how it does come apart. Sometimes it seems like maybe there aren't layers there because it's difficult to get apart, but I promise you that 99% of the napkins that I have tried have at least 2 or 3 layers attached to them. Those layers are a very important part of this process. You definitely need the layers in order for this trick to work. As you see, I'm putting this through the laminator now, but when I take it apart, the reason it does not stick together, and it's not like it would be if you just laminated one piece of paper where both sides then are kind of stuck to the paper, is because it kind of creates a pocket. Those layers kind of create a pocket on the inside. And so what happens is when you cut off the edges of the laminating sheet, you are then left with 2 sides of the different pockets because you have those layers in between that are not getting stuck to the laminator. Now these other napkins I found are ones that I found at Home Goods. They were obviously in these little shapes, and I thought those were so cute, and I just wanted to give those a try. So you'll see me make some cards out of those later. We have one for obviously kind of a baby shower, and then the house one was actually on clearance. It was supposed to be a Halloween haunted house, I think, but I thought it would work well for a Christmas house as well. Now this napkin was larger than the laminating pouch, and so the 2 sides were open, but I go ahead and I cut off the other sides, and now it's split apart and I have 2 pieces. Now it's not vellum yet because you still have to take off the extra piece of napkin that is on the back, and that is when it becomes more feeling like vellum. And you do have to be careful because sometimes it seems like, okay, I've taken that off and it still doesn't look right. Well, that's oftentimes because there's actually another piece of napkin stuck to it. So if yours is like not very translucent, then that's probably the reason why. And then there you go. Now I have 2 pieces of specialized vellum. I'm going ahead and doing the same thing with the other napkins that I made. And you can kind of see my hand through there. And you can see how it's really translucent. And you can see how this one also had an extra piece stuck to it. And I knew that there was an extra piece stuck to it because it wasn't very translucent. You can see my hand through it there. Now these specialty shape ones, I'm going to have to cut just inside the lines essentially in order to get those pieces to split apart. If I cut outside the lines, then those pieces will stay stuck together. So if you're doing this and you have specialty cutout shape napkins, you do want to cut inside the line as I'm doing here. And then you'll see they just split apart, same as the other ones. Now I have all of the vellum made for these cards that I'm going to make, and I'm going to go ahead and make my first card out of the kind of Scandinavian images there. And I'm just trimming the excess, and my thought was to make this into a square card to match the design of this. So I'm taking a pre-made card base, and this is a 5.5 by 5.5, and I'm just putting them together. And now the thing about vellum is, if you know, that when you glue or tape anything on the backside of vellum, because it is translucent, you can see it. But here's a little trick. If you put some glue on and you kind of spread it out into like a very thin layer, you can then put the vellum on it, and the vellum the glue will not show through that vellum. So that is a little trick, and you'll see here it works fine. You're not able to see any of the glue through. You probably wouldn't have been able to see too much anyway because it is white on white, but this helps just to make sure that it doesn't look unsightly when you are looking at it. Then you have the translucent vellum that is hanging over the edges there, and I'm going to glue another piece to the back side, and then I'm also gluing the top edge together, and that's going to create the fold of the card. If I didn't do this, then the two pieces would kind of get mushed together when you opened it up, but this way the top opens up, and I'm just kind of scoring it there to make sure that it opens up completely. And there you go, then it'll fold flat. Now these napkins had some matching stickers, and I thought those would be really cute to add onto this. So what I did is I took some of the stickers that I wanted to use and I put them onto a piece of cardstock, and I then just cut out the stickers from the cardstock. So that way it's a little sturdier when I'm putting it on my card. And then I'm just adding a little sparkle and shine. This is just a Sakura gel pen in metallic gold, and I use this throughout the video because it just adds that little bit of interest and sparkle without being too over the top. For my sentiment, I'm just going ahead and using a Hero Arts one that came in the grab bag that I just recently got. I am giving away some things from that grab bag, so check out my previous video if you want to enter for that. Have a Cozy Christmas. I thought this was perfect, and I'm just going ahead and heat embossing that with some glitter sparkle embossing powder. And I'm going to go ahead and die cut that and then put that up on a mat that I made from the previous napkins that I turned into vellum that you saw at the beginning of the video. And I just go ahead and adhere that with some foam squares, adhere the Christmas tree with some foam squares. I made sure to place the Christmas tree so that the top of the Christmas tree was kind of where the images kind of come together, so it kind of looks like it's made to be part of this. And that is my first card done. I think that those Scandinavian Christmas images are so cozy and cute and go really well with that sentiment of have a cozy Christmas. I really like the way that this one turned out. What do you guys think? For my next card, I'm going ahead and I'm using a card base that I had previously made, and I made this kind of snowy background with this acrylic spray that was a Hero Arts acrylic spray that came with a previous kit. And I'm taking some of the vellum that we made and I'm just making kind of a wrap around that card base. And don't worry about the Scotch tape there. It is going to get covered up when I go ahead and put a panel on the back when I'm done with making the card. And that'll also help give the card some more stability. I'm just going through and I'm going to make a little scene with the stickers that I got. using the metallic gel pen here to create some more interest along the sled. So where the metal part of the sled is, I'm going ahead and using the gel pen for that. And then on the stars on the vellum, I'm going ahead and embellishing those with the glitter metallic gel pen. Now we've got a little gnome Santa riding a horse and then pulling the sleigh. And I went ahead and I found a gold ribbon in my stash, and I just went ahead and poked a little hole right where the gnome would be holding the reins of the horse, and threaded the ribbon through there. I also added some white gel pen and also later some snowfall paste onto the tops of the houses to kind of make it look a little bit more snowy. And those sentiments are a Betterpress plate, and I'll show that a little later in the video. But there I am, just adding the inserts on the inside, give it more strength and stability. I put a few stickers in there, and then that is our second card completed. Merry Christmas, here comes Santa. Third card, I'm using this background that I got from this paper stack from Michaels. I think it was last year, and I'm just going ahead and creating a card base from this. I started off making it a 6x6, but I ended up needing it slightly bigger, so I do recut it to better fit that house there. Now, my original idea for this was to use this Tim Holtz kind of light switch to be able to create a lit up house in the back. And I started doing that, but I found that because this embellishment was not made for cards, I think it's made more for like a shadow box, it was too big for this. Now, there are companies that make lights that go on cards, but this was just too big, and so I ended up kind of scrapping this idea, which is too bad because it looked kind of cool. So I did decide to raise this up on foam, and as you know, because it's vellum, it kind of shows through on the back. So what I did is I chose to put the foam just where it would make sense for us to not be able to see through. And so like on the doors and then on the roof where I knew I was going to be putting some snow embellishments, I went ahead and I put my foam tape there. So I do have kind of a frame of foam tape that I create around this, but then the rest of it is kind of translucent still, and you can kind of see through to that background. So it's kind of hard to see on camera, but it does kind of look lit up with that kind of starry night background in the back, but obviously not as much as I had hoped at being able to use the light up embellishment. And this is Snowfall Grip Paste from Tim Holtz, and I'm just using an extra blender brush that I have. This was just a blender brush that I didn't really care too much about, just because it's not super useful from the shape that I have. So I thought, you know what, I need a brush to put on this paste, so I might as well use this. Now, one thing I didn't realize about the glitter paste, the Snowfall glitter paste, is that it actually dries more clear. So in the areas where I put it on pretty heavily, it stays kind of white, but in the other spots, it does become more clear. So you'll see in the picture, it didn't come out quite as snowy as I had wanted, but this was my first time using the Snowfall paste, so I was kind of experimenting. Now here are the sentiments that I used for the previous card and for this one as well. This is a Betterpress plate that is Christmas sentiments, and it cuts out lots of sentiments at once, which is awesome. I used pieces from the first vellum that I showed you in the video that I had previously made off camera, and I just cut out some little pine boughs and berries and things like that from it. And I'm not being super precise here because it doesn't really matter. The extra vellum that is around those needles kind of just looks a little icy or snowy, so it kind of creates a good effect anyway. And I want to put those behind the sentiment to give it a little extra oomph, and there you have it. That is the finished card. So this one didn't come out quite as I had hoped, but I think it still came out pretty cute, and I'll have to experiment a bit more with this house and see what else I can make with it. Now moving on to kind of our bonus card, the baby card. One of the cool things about this vellum technique is, as you can see, the gold kind of foil that was on the napkin shows through on the vellum. So even though the vellum, you know, goes over the napkin and everything like that, that gold foil still really came through. Now I used a card stack that I had. This was an Echo Park card stack, and then I just created a little frame for it. And I'm just putting that again on this 5.5 by 5.5 card base. Again, knowing that you can see through the vellum, which is a quality that we want a lot of the time, but I didn't want to be able to see the animal zoo behind his face. So I went ahead and I covered that up using some foam panel. And then I also did that with his sweater, mostly because I just needed a place also to be able to adhere him to the card. So one side of that is sticky, and then the other side I just glue to the card that we made. And you'll see when we glue him down, then the face is not too visible, but then you can still see through the rest of the body, which kind of is a cool effect. And then I had these stickers from my stash that I used for the sentiment, Hello Baby. And these are foam stickers with some glitter on them. And these I just got at clearance at a craft store a while back, and I thought that they were perfect for this card. So that is our last card completed. What did you guys think of this technique? Have you tried it before? If you haven't, let me know. If you do decide to try it, I would love to see what you make with it. And again, all credit goes to Anne Melvin. She's absolutely brilliant. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful to you, please like, subscribe, and share, and I'll catch you on our next crafty adventures.